Welcome back. Very good morning to one and all. Hope you are all fine and doing well. So we have learned in the last class, it's all the explanation of the concepts of Ohm's law, which leads to a mathematical equation V equal to IR. Remember, R is the resistance of a particular conductor through which there is a current I traveling through it. Then potential difference across the terminals of the conductor is V, so that V equal to IR. This is what you have learned. And at the same time, the Ohm's law statement is potential difference across the terminals of a conductor will be directly proportional to current passing through the conductor. Don't forget this. If there is a conductor whose current is I, then that potential difference across the terminals of the conductor varies directly proportional to the electric current. So from this mathematical analysis, if you are going to take a graph, potential difference versus current, you know the basic mathematics of coordinate geometry or coordinate system with the x-axis and y-axis. So on y-axis I have taken potential difference. On x-axis I have taken electric current. So it is a potential difference versus electric current graph. Here is the horizon. You are seeing here V equal to IR, which resembles a basic mathematical equation. V equal to IR represents Y equal to MX. This is a required mathematics of coordinate system here. Y equal to mx, where current is taken on x-axis, potential difference is taken on y-axis, and m represents the slope of the graph. You know, y equal to mx is a mathematical equation whose graph will be a straight line passing through origin. Hope you have learned the concepts of coordinate system in mathematics. If not, if you have any doubts in this particular mathematical area, you can message me in WhatsApp so that I will explain during Zoom class. Still, if you have any doubt, I hope you have learned this basics of mathematics. So when the mathematical equation is y equal to nx, then its a graphical representation will be a straight line passing through origin. So that m represents slope of this straight line. Slope is nothing but, if theta is the angle made by the straight line with x-axis, then its inclination or the slope can be termed as m equal to tan theta. Slope or inclination of the line will be expressed with the positive x-axis, which can be mentioned as m equal to tan theta. That m represents the resistance of a conductor mathematically. So a little more mathematics might be beyond your textbook. If you have taken potential difference versus electric current graph, then the graph will be a straight line passing through origin, since potential difference varies directly proportional to electric current. What you need to understand. Of course, this holds good at a constant temperature. Don't forget that, at a constant temperature. If the temperature increases, yes, we'll discuss later. So this is how the resistance of a conductor can be taken, the slope of VI graph. The slope of VI graph will give the resistance of the conductor. This is a little more mathematical explanation. Apart from that, don't expect that all the materials obeys this Ohm's law. No. Most of the conductors obeys this Ohm's law. So those materials which obey Ohm's law are known as ohmic conductors. The materials that obeys Ohm's law are known as ohmic conductors. For those materials only, VI graph will be a straight line passing through origin. Almost all the conductors like iron, copper, aluminium, all the conductors will be treated as ohmic conductors that obeys Ohm's law at a constant temperature. No doubt in that. Whose graph will be a straight line passing through origin for the ohmic conductors. That's the reason why these ohmic conductors are also known as linear conductors. The reason it is VI graph will be a straight line. VI graph will be a straight line passing through origin. So they are known as linear conductors. But at the same time, I have told you about semiconductors. Do you remember? Semiconductors are the materials that acts as insulators under normal room temperature conditions. But once they have heated up, once they are being heated up, then those insulators can act as good conductors on rising the temperature. Which materials? Semiconductors are the materials that are insulators at room temperature, but on heating, they become as good conductors. In such case, VI graph will not be a straight line, and moreover, Ohm's law is not applicable for them. They are known as non-ohmic conductors. I repeat, non-ohmic conductors, which are semiconductors. Best example. In that case, the graph will not be a straight line, so they can be termed as non-linear conductors. So these are two more points that you can get conceptually or theoretically in the case of Ohm's law that we have discussed in the last class. In addition to this, we are going to enter into a different point, which is the factors that can influence, that can affect the resistance of a conductor. Means the resistance of a conductor can be changed under some terms and conditions. It is not compulsory that all the conductors should have the same resistance. Will not be. For example, if you have taken copper and silver, silver is the best conductor than copper. Of course, as the copper is more available in the nature and at less cost, so we prefer copper as a conducting wire. But silver is the best conductor than copper. Means the resistance offered by a silver wire will be less compared to that of copper wire. So my intention is to tell you that here different materials will have the values of different resistances. So my intention is the nature of material is one of the factors that can influence the resistance of a conducting wire. If you have taken a conducting wire has some length and having some cross-sectional area, I told you in the earlier class, cross-sectional area which is pi r square, where r is the radius of cross-section which is equal to diameter by 2. Diameter of the wire nothing but thickness. I repeat, the thickness of the wire will give diameter. Please try to note down all these points which are required to go with your academic textbook completely, which are required. So, the diameter of the wire is nothing but thickness of the wire. Half of the thickness, half of the diameter will give radius of cross section. Small r, and A equal to pi r square because it is a circular cross section. So you have taken a copper wire having some length and cross sectional area, but there is an aluminium wire having same length and same cross sectional area, same length, same cross sectional area, but their resistances will not be same. Though they are the same material, they have same length and same cross-sectional area, but the resistances will be different. The reason it is, the material is different. Of course, I can prove this statement mathematically as per earlier equation. I have told you one mathematical equation earlier, but I am not sure how far seriously you have taken the earlier mathematics. I am not sure. But you have learned V by I is equal to 2Lm by N e square A tau. I am not sure how seriously you have taken this mathematical equation. But I told you in that class, this equation is very important for many explanations. See, they are of the same length, L same. M for mass of electron, E for charge of electron, keep it aside. A for cross-sectional area, same. How is relaxation time? N is the number of electrons per unit volume. Relaxation time can be affected with the temperature, because if the temperature increases, the electrons move very fast, so the collisions takes place early. You know, relaxation time, the time interval between two consecutive collisions, because while passing through the cross section of conductor, electrons collide among themselves. The time interval between two consecutive collisions is the relaxation time. That will be changing according to temperature conditions. But as the material is different, number of electrons per unit volume will be different. Small n, number of electrons per unit volume. The same n we have used in I equal to NEAVD, drift velocity. I equal to NEAVD equation. The n stands for number of electrons per unit volume. So this mathematical equation proves that the resistance of a conductor changes with the material, since the number of electrons per unit volume will be different for different materials. Remember this. Next. Sir, no sir. This time I have taken two conducting wires. They are of same material. Same material and the same cross-sectional area, and also at the same temperature conditions. But this time their lengths are different. Their lengths are different, so that their resistances also will be different. The reason is with this mathematical equation. Look at this. R equal to V by I, that equal to 2Lm by N E square A tau. When you have taken two different conducting wires of the same material, having the same cross-sectional area at the same temperature conditions, but still their length is different. If length increases, resistance will increase, because L is in the numerator. When numerator value increases, fraction value will increase. So that the resistance of a conductor varies according to its length. I can give you a theoretical explanation to this. As the length of the conductor increases, there is a possibility for electrons to go for more number of collisions, as they need to travel over the greater length. When current is passing through these conducting wires, the electrons have to travel more the length through this wire, so that there is a possibility for more number of collisions, so that the conducting wire of greater length can offer greater resistance due to the possibilities of more number of collisions. So here length of the conductor is another factor that can influence the resistance of a conductor. In what way? Yes, the resistance of a conductor will be directly proportional to its length. Greater the length, greater the resistance. Lesser the length, less the resistance. Then these two R1, R2, L1, L2 will be related with equation R1 by R2 equal to L1 by L2. This is well familiar mathematics to you, because when x proportional to y, x by y is always constant. So that R1 by R2 equal to L1 by L2, which is required mathematics to go with our textbook at full extent. No doubt. So my conclusion from this point is, the resistance of a conductor of the same material, same cross-sectional area at same temperature conditions, but it varies according to the length. See, these terms and conditions are very important. I can say resistance of a conductor will be directly proportional to its length, provided the conducting wires are of the same material. These conducting wires should be of the same cross-sectional area, and these two conducting wires should be at the same temperature. Everything is applicable under some terms and conditions. Especially in physics, when you are dealing with the relation between two physical quantities, all other terms should remain same. So, when we are comparing the two conducting wires are of the same material, same cross-sectional area and at same temperature, then the resistance of the conductor varies directly proportional to its length. So we can have a mathematical equation R1 by R2 equal to L1 by L2. So you have learned 2 points. The factors affecting the resistance of a conductor, one is the nature of the material, the other it is length of the conductor. Please note down this. On keeping this particular point in past, I will continue. Little more I will continue. I will erase this portion. Please write down. So we have learned 2 points here. The resistance of a conductor varies with its length, and the resistance of a conductor will be different for different materials. And the third point here it is, I am continuing, cross-sectional area. The resistance of a conductor varies according to its cross-sectional area. Let me explain in detail. You have taken a conductor whose length is L and the cross-sectional area is A, having some resistance R1. Now there is another conductor whose length is same, provided they are made up with the same material, but the cross-sectional area is different. You can see here cross-sectional area is more, here cross-sectional area is less. You know, here less cross-sectional area and here it is more cross-sectional area. Less diameter, more diameter. So that the resistance will be different. Because the reason it is, when the cross-sectional area is more, then electrons find some comfort while passing through the cross-section of conductor. So that the number of collisions can be reduced, so that the resistance will be less. So more the cross-sectional area, less the resistance, but less the cross-sectional area, more the resistance. Because when the cross-sectional area has been increased, number of collisions can be reduced. Certainly it offers less resistance. So the conclusion is, the resistance of a conductor varies inversely proportional to its cross-sectional area. Inversely proportional. Because greater cross-sectional area offers less resistance, less cross-sectional area offers more resistance. So there is an inversely proportional relation. The resistance of a conductor varies inversely proportional to its cross-sectional area when they are of the same length and the same material at same temperature. So that you can write now the relation R1 by R2 equal to A2 by A1, because inversely proportional relation, that's why the ratio will be reversed. And the last but not least here, temperature of a conductor. Just now I have told you, temperature of a conductor has been increased on heating. If you are going to heat up the conductor and its temperature has been increased. So what will happen here? While heating, the heat energy will be absorbed by the electrons and they move little more faster than earlier. So that what will happen? The interval of time between the collisions, which is the relaxation time, will decrease. The time interval between two consecutive collisions is called relaxation time. Now the collisions will happen rapidly as they gain heat energy during the temperature rise. So as the relaxation time decreases, the resistance has to increase. This is the key mathematics. That's why here the resistance of a conductor varies directly proportional to its temperature. Means as the temperature of a conductor increases, resistance will increase. As the temperature of the conductor decreases, resistance will decrease. Remember, that will not be same for semiconductors. In the case of semiconductors, if you heat them, if you rise their temperature, they become good conductors. That means their resistance will decrease. So this is for conductors, don't forget. As the temperature of a conductor increases, the resistance will increase. Of course, no doubt, in the case of semiconductors, rising temperature will reduce its resistance so that they become good conductors. But we are dealing with here, resistance of a conductor increases with temperature. So this is how we can discuss about factors affecting the resistance of a conductor. One is nature of a material, length of a conductor, cross-sectional area, temperature of a conductor. And connecting with all these conceptual points, these are all conceptual points, but these concepts can be verified experimentally, which will be given more priority in your academic textbook. To identify, to analyze all these concepts experimentally, more priority is given in your textbook. So, in that way, to give you a detailed experimental analysis, a small video presentation is going to be attached to this theoretical explanation once you go through them, so that later you read your textbook and activity based concepts in the textbook so that you can understand them carefully. I am not going to teach line to line of the textbook even you don't expect. You are saying I am not going to read the line to dictate from English to Telugu to translate. No. I am giving the basic inputs or concepts of the content which you need to read so that you can learn, then that is the subject. If you are going to have any doubts while reading the textbook, while learning, then you can ask some doubts and the doubts clarification should be done. Hope you can understand what I am going to tell you, what is my intention, which is more important to refer the textbook after going through my class. And make sure that you are going to prepare the notes each class wise on mentioning the date. You are going to prepare the notes carefully. If not, it will be a lot of burden at once to you in the coming days to attend the board examination. So make sure that you are going class-wise preparation without any negligence, so that you will be in the comfortable zone in the coming days when you are going to attend the board examination. Hope you can understand what I am trying to tell you and go through the video presentation that is going to be attached here. You can understand all these concepts more clearly. Then refer the textbook, don't forget. Fine? Take care. So here, in an electric circuit, the resistance is nothing but an objection to the flow of current. So that more the resistance, less the current, and less the resistance, more the current we can expect. So that when a cell is connected, greater the resistance, lesser the current. Now let us see what are the factors that can influence the resistance of a conductor. So here we have taken a simple electric circuit having a source of electric current battery and an ammeter. Now see, there is a conductor which is a nichrome wire. There is an alloy, of course, of nickel and chrome having some length L, and through which there is a current I1 passing through it. Nichrome wire is the combination of nickel and chromium. Now here the length of the conducting wire increased to twice, keeping the thickness same, keeping the cross-sectional area same. As the length is doubled and it is observed, the current reduced to half. This has been seen in ammeter. Now in the third case, keeping the same length of nichrome wire means in first, second, third cases material is same. Keeping the same length of the conducting wire, here the cross-sectional area is going to be increased. Compared to first and third case, cross-sectional area has been increased and the current obviously has been increased. But in the fourth case, instead of nichrome wire, we have taken a copper wire of same length that in the first case and of the same cross-sectional area that in the first case. But only the thing it is, the material has been changed. So it is observed that the current has been increased compared to first case. So here, when you are going to compare the first and second cases, the wires are of same cross-sectional area, but of different length. Of course, same material even. But greater the length, lesser the current is observed. So it indicates that the resistance of a conductor is increasing with respect to length, R proportional to L. Because in first two cases, material is same, cross-sectional area same, only the length has been increased. So resistance has been increased, current reduced. While comparing first and second cases, we can say R proportional to L. The resistance of a conductor directly proportional to its length. This is concluded from first two cases. Now here, you take the third case. Compared to the first case, third case has more cross-sectional area, but of same length and the same material, but a cross-sectional area has been increased. Then current also has been increased. It means greater the cross-sectional area, lesser the resistance. That's why more the current. That's why. So from first and third cases, we can say the resistance of a conductor is inversely proportional to cross-sectional area. On combining those two equations, you can write R proportional to L by A and R equal to rho into L by A, where rho is a proportionality constant named as electric resistivity or specific resistance. Now here look at the fourth case. In this case, the length of the conductor and the cross-sectional area remains same like first case, but the material is different. In first case it is nichrome, which is an alloy. In fourth case, it's a copper wire, which is a conductor. Of course, alloys have greater the resistivity compared to conductors. So it explains that the resistance of a conductor varies as per nature of the material. So this is all to explain factors affecting resistance of a conductor experimentally. And the mathematical equation that is concluded, R equal to rho into L by A, where the specific resistance rho has units ohm meter. SI unit of specific resistance or resistivity is ohm meter. So this is all about a little more experimental analysis on the concepts of factors affecting the resistance of a conductor. You can look at the explanation. It is showing in what way the resistivity is different for different materials, so that different materials offers different resistances. Here this is an additional presentation that helps you better. You are seeing an electric circuit having a coil offering some resistance, and there is an ammeter that can measure the current in milliamperes, of course, MA for milliamperes. And you are seeing a source of electric current, a battery, which is a combination of three cells you are seeing. And the other electrical component of the circuit, plug key, you are seeing. You can see the plug key device that can act like a switch in the electric circuit. So here you are seeing the plug key, the resistor, the milliammeter and the battery. You can see the plug key especially, which makes you to identify some components of electric circuit. So first of all, we take a nichrome wire whose length is L and the diameter is D. Having some diameter means a particular cross-sectional area. Now you keep the plug key, so it's switched on. So a current of 18 milliamperes through the nichrome wire of length L and diameter D. Note down. Through the nichrome wire of length L and diameter D, a current of 18 milliamperes. Now here, the second case, you can see rightmost corner, the data is presenting. The length of the conducting wire increased to twice, but the diameter remains the same. But the current reading is 9 milliamperes. Means as the length is doubled, keeping the cross-sectional area same, but the current is reduced. Identify this. Now the third case, keeping the same length of the resistor, but this time its diameter has been doubled. Like in first case, length is same, but the diameter has been doubled. and in this case the current reading is observed as 36 milliamperes. So it shows on increasing the diameter so that a cross-sectional area, current increased, means the resistance has got decreased. Now see the last case, instead of a nichrome coil, we have placed a copper coil of length L and diameter D like in the first case. But here this time 90 milliampere current was found. In the first case, the wire is of length L and diameter D, but of nichrome wire. But this is a copper wire with the same measures, reads 90 milliamperes. So that shows the resistance of a coil depends on material, length, diameter, cross-sectional area.